Explaining taxes in Italy is very tricky when you have to show how rational thinking and local rules do not go together. And for the following cases, you'll be surprised. Let's start with taxes up front. In Italy, the Italian revenue agency doesn't trust you at all, period. So when you ask for something like money, in this case, and you're not sure if your counterpart is loyal, you ask for some guarantees, for some deposit before any transaction. Well, Italy does exactly the same, tax-wise. Every year, and yes, I said every year, they want you to pay balance taxes for the previous calendar year, plus a certain amount as payments on account for a current fiscal year, when maybe you have no idea of how much you're gonna make or so. And this balance account payment cycle leaves as long as you have some tax liability. So please remember, the very first year that you become a tax resident in Italy, you have to pay almost twice as much. Then timing for reimbursement. And fair and taxes are not the opposite, or they shouldn't be. When you as a taxpayer skip a deadline or take longer to pay a certain tax bill, you have to estimate and add penalties and fines for the delay. And this starts from the day after the deadline itself, no exemption. Vice versa, it may happen for you to show a credit in your tax return for whatever reason, because you paid more in advance or because you had some significant tax deduction. Depending on your tax return form, the Modello 730, the Modello 730, or the Modello Redditi, the Agenzia could and actually can take between few months to 4 years before give you the check back. And if you pass their cross-check, of course, and there are no interest due in your favor for their delay, for them taking longer. Then let's talk about deductions. US and UK people in particular will find it very hard to believe. In Italy, when you write off your business expenses, for example, as long as those are legit costs, the Agenzia gives you a list of percentages to apply. Like you jump from 100% for materials to less than 2% for travel and restaurants, from 40% to 20% for higher expenses. And the VAT paid for the invoices suffers from this mechanism as well. And flip side, when an individual is spending more for, let's say, medical insurance, medical treatments, dentist, or home improvements, so we're thinking about big numbers now, the Agenzia once again gives you a certain percentage to apply, and they put a cap on top of that. Like you cannot deduct more than, let's say, 96,000 for renovations, for example. The last one that I can think of is fix a mistake. No one is perfect. They know that. You know that. So even when you find yourself in jam because you made a mistake, like applying wrong tax rates, paying late, or missing some income you should have put it in the tax form, you have up to 4 years after the deadline to recover from that. And if there is any amount due, you can pay with difference resulting. Good news is that the case is available only for those who file their taxes in time for that given year. So never miss a deadline. Extending the logic, a nil tax return and then a fixed one 2 years later can cost you less than a perfect tax return filed 1 year later.